Welcome to the third session of Android Study Jams. I'm Sahil Pednekar, facilitator for this program. Today we will be building an app. It is a dice roller app in which on clicking a button, the dice gets rolled and gives a random number from 1 to 6. In this session, we will explore the basic UI of Android Studio. We'll set up the virtual device and or connect to the external device you have like mobile to view the app you are making. We'll see at the basic anatomy of the Android project and see how image resources and compatibility work in Android Studio. After that, I will ask everyone to share your ideas on your Android apps. So for now, let's get started building our app. So this is the Android Studio application. Now when starting the project, we'll use empty activity as our basic template. After clicking next, it will ask for the name, the package name, and the location where it should be saved on your computer and the language. For name, we'll use dice roller, and as per the name changes, the package name also changes here. For language, there will be Kotlin. The minimum SDK is default here as API 19 since it works on 98% devices. So when the minimum SDK is this much, you don't have to worry about the maximum SDK you will be using, and it will run on most of the devices. Uh, Also check the use legacy Android support libraries. After that, hit finish. As I'm already have opened a project, I won't be doing this. For those who are wondering, I'll show you how to install a virtual device. Here I have two virtual devices. One is a Google Pixel and 2, and one is the other Pixel 3. If you want to create a new virtual device, just need to go here, select any device you want, click on next. These are all the API levels and the system images that will be given here. After click on next and finish, you will get your new device. After installing, you will get an option here of all the devices you have as running as an emulator in your Android Studio to run your application on it. If you want to connect to a external device, you can use this feature to run on multiple devices. If you're connected to external hardware like your mobile, one more option will be present here with your device's name. It will run similar to this one. As you can see, if I minimize, there is a dice roller app viewed here. It will be shown in a similar form while you are developing using your device in Android Studio, and the progress will be saved in your own device. Every time you run a new few more changes, it will install a new app in your device according to the amount of changes you make. Now I have opened the dice roller application. In this, we'll first look at the basic UI of the Android Studio application. So this is the Android view, and this is the project view that these are the two views that we use during development in Android Studio. If you want a very standard view to work in, project view will be better for you. And if you want easier workflow, then Android is the best. What about the files that you work in? So there are a lot of files in Android when you start your project. So which are the files that you actually work with? One of the main file will be main activity. This is the main Kotlin file that you will be working with, and the other one is activity main.xml. The activity main XML file is in the res folder in the layout subfolder. The activity main XML file has all the UI layouts of the app you are working on. In this dice roller app, there is a linear layout in which there is an image view and there is a button. The image view has the image of the dice, and the button is the button that you will click on to change the image every time. So it gives a new number. There is another file named as Android manifest.xml. In this file, there will be essential information about the activities that we need to declare in it. As you can see, there is a filter called this tag called as intent filter. This intent filter tag is used to pass a command that when we click on the icon that the app needs to be run. Now moving on to Gradles. What are Gradles? Gradles are built automation system that uses a domain specific language to describe the app structure, configuration, and dependencies. In Android Studio, you'll be working with two main gradles. One is the build gradle, which is the project build gradle, and the other gradle is the model build gradle. Build gradle, which is of the project, is common to all modules, and the other build gradle is a gradle of module level, which is of the app itself. This is the code that we will be using just for text and with no images of the dice. As you can see, main activity Kotlin file is here. So first, how do you add a button in Kotlin? As I told, in res file, you will see the layout. It contains the activity main XML file. Here is the button. To create a button, you need to use the button tag, and inside it you have to pass all the attributes and their values that you need the button to have. Now let's check all the attributes of the button. Android layout width, wrap content. So Android layout width is the attribute, and wrap content, for which we use for both the width and the height, is used so that the text we use in the button gets wrapped around in perfect shape. Yeah, if I change the name from roll to roll the dice, the Android layout with attribute changes its size according to the label of the button. Android text attribute given to the button, and it gives and it is given the value of roll. For button views, the text attribute is the label of the button. In the layout editor, the attribute is highlighted in yellow, which indicates a tip or a warning. In this case, the yellow highlighting is because the string role is hard coded in the button label, but the string should be a resource. As you can see, we are passing a string here for the name, but is not the string itself. It's a string which is present in another file, and we use this so we can afterwards change the name, and it's easy to handle that way. In the res folder, the subfolder values named as strings.xml. Here in the resources tag, there are two strings. One string is named dice roller and one string is named roll. I'll just run the emulator so you can see. Here is the name, app name, dice roller, and here is the name, and here is the button's name. If I change the name of the button here from roll to roll the dice and run it again, takes few seconds, and as you can see, the button has changed its size and label has changed. So you don't need to pass a string in the button button tag itself. You can use this as a id and give it in the string here in the resources in strings.xml file. So if you want to change any name anywhere, you can just come to the strings.xml folder and change all the strings that you want to. Now we'll look at style and position views. As you can see, activity main.xml has three uh, tabs here: code, split, and design. The code shows only the code, and the design shows. Let me expand here. Okay, the design part shows all the design, how your view groups will be distributed throughout the app layout. Again, back to code, we can see the linear layout has layout width, batch parent, layer height, wrap content, and there is another tag called Android layout gravity. So this Android layout gravity attribute is given to both the text and the button view, and we give it the value center horizontal for the button and the text view, and we give it center vertical for linear layout. So the button and the text align themselves horizontally in the center, while the whole layout of the app is vertical, so it arranges itself in this form. If you want to increase the size of the any word that is given here, you can use the Android text size attribute to change it, and the value of 30 sp. You can lower it or increase it as much as you want. Now we'll look at how to get a reference to button in a code. Okay. The Kotlin code in main activity is responsible for defining the interactive parts of your app, such as what happens when you tap a button, to write a function that executes when button is clicked. You need to get a reference to the button in object in your inflated layout in main activity. To get a reference to the button, you have to first assign the button an ID in the XML file. This is the XML file. This is the ID that we have given to the button. Then we have to use the find view by ID method in your code to get a reference to the view with a specific ID. Now we will check the main activity. As you can see, we have used the find view ID for the button here. Once we have a reference to the button view, you can call methods on that view to dynamically change it as the app runs. For example, you can add a click handler that executes code when the button is tapped. Now in the activity main.xml file, if you click the code tab and then add the Android ID attribute here, which we use to give an ID to, as you can see, we give the ID as add plus ID role underscore button. When you create an ID for a view in XML layout file, Android Studio creates an integer constant with that ID's name in the generated R class. If you name a view role underscore button like this, Android Studio generates and creates an integer constant called role/button in the R class. The ID at plus ID prefix for the ID name tells the compiler to add the ID constant to the R class. All the view IDs in your XML file must have the prefix. When you open the main activity Kotlin file inside onCreate, here, this is the onCreate function, and this is the set content view function. We use the find view by ID method to get a view reference for what the view that you defined in the XML class. In this case, you get the button reference from the R class and the ID role button, role underscore button, and you assign that reference to the role button variable. Here the code is written in advance, so I'll just show you. If you write this code by yourself, you can observe that it will appear in red. It means that it is not been declared here. So after so you to solve the problem, you have to import it. You have to press alt plus enter. Asks us to remove the exploited type specification, the introduce import alias. Another option will come to import it. This happens because it was an unresolved reference and that you need to import this class before you can use it. A tooltip indicating the fully qualified class name may also appear like this. This is the tooltip. Okay, I will see how to add a click handler. A click handler is a method that is invoked each time the user clicks or taps on a clickable UI element, such as a button. To create a click handler, you need a method that performs some operation. The set on click listener here method which connects the button to the handler method. In the task, you create a click handler method to display a toast. A toast is a message that pops up the screen for a short time. You connect the click handler to the button. In your main activity class, after on create, here, create a private function called role device. See, this is the private function. Here is the stored. Right now it has been commented. Can I remove the comments? Okay, see. Now it gives me a click handler. Every time I click the button, it gives me a click handler that the button has been clicked. How do you create this? We use the toast.makeTest method. This method requires three things: a context object. The context object allows you to communicate with and get information about the current state of the Android OS. You need a context here so that the toast object can tell the OS to display the toast, because app compact activity is a subclass of the context. You can use the keyword this for the context. The message to be shown here, button clicked, this one. The duration to show the message will be the show method. At the end displays the toast. In on create, after the call to find view by ID, you have to add this line to assign roll dice. This one right here. You have to add this line to assign the roll dice method as a click handler to the roll button object. The full definition of the main activity will look like this. This will be the final code for our dice roller app in main activity. As you can see, if I run it, it changes the number every time. It also gives the click handler, the toast with the text button clicked. We know how to change the name of the button and how to use ID on strings to store the strings. Once again, I will change the name to row and run it again. You can see the name has been changed here. We used this ID and this ID for text and the button. As you can see, every time I change the name in the strings, it also changes here. And if I click back, it gives the add string slash rule underscore label tag again. Now we'll see how to change the text. In the activity main.xml. This is the ID we used for the text view. And in the main activity, in the roll dice method, the comment out of the line to display the toast, we use the find view by ID method to get a reference to the text view by its ID, assign the reference to a result text variable. This is the variable we use as the result text. Now we'll assign a new string to the result text.text property to change the displayed text. You can ignore the hint to extract that string into a resource. This is just a temporary string. After you compile and run the app, note that the tapping the roll button now updates the text view. See, here is the string hello world. After you change, the number comes. And how do you change this number every time? How do you display a random number every time you click on this button? And to simulate the roll of the dice, each time the button is clicked or tapped, your code picks a random number from 1 to 6 and updates the text view. The task of generating a random number isn't Android specific, and you use the random function on the range to do it. At the top of the roll dice method, you use the 1 to 6 random method to get random number between 1 and 6. Here is the code. This is the one line code that you use to generate the random number. Set the text property to the value of the random integer as a string. Here is it. You change it to string. After we compile, we get this as the output. Every time we change, we get a string number as a result. Every time we change, we get a random number. The whole code, the solution code is available on GitHub. You can go through your pathways in the second prior to programming track. You can find after completing the code labs, you can see a button named as solution code. In it shows all the code. I'll show you. After you take the code lab, there is a coding challenge here, which you can do. It is up to you, as it is optional. There is the solution code. It redirects you to the solution code of the app we just did and the code lab you have taken to do. You can refer to the code here. Just the files are arranged in the same pattern they were in the Android Studio. Okay, now we'll move to the second part, which includes the image. It will be easy for you to work on your project if you keep all the main files open, which are opened here. The first task will be to add the images. After opening the Dice Roller app project in Android Studio and change the view to Android view instead of project view, this will be much easier for you to work on instead of project view. We need to expand the drawable folder, which is under the res folder. Here you can see there are 6 files named as dice 1 to 6, which contain the images of the dice, and one empty file which doesn't contain any images, and there is a background and foreground XML. Your app uses many different resources, including images, icons, colors, strings, and XML layouts. All those resources are stored in RES folder here. The drawable folder is where you should put all the image resources of your app already in the drawable folder. You can find the resources for the app's launcher icons. Double click IC launcher background XML here. Note that these are the XML files that describe the icon as a vector image. Vector enables your images to be drawn at many different sizes and resolutions. Bitmap images such as PNG or GIF may need to be scaled for different devices, which can result in some loss of quality. Click preview. In this case, design in the right column of the XML editor, view the vector drawable visual form. This is the visual form. Images for the dices are available in the code labs. You can find it out while solving the code lab itself. Android Studio, you need to click the drop down menu at the top of the project view that currently says Android and choose the project view. Now you have to go to the app, source, main, and then res. Here is the drawable. Now, why did I show you the project view instead of the Android view? There, if you happen to have project view open instead of Android view, and you come across two files named one drawable and drawable v24, you have to keep in mind that you have to keep your images in the drawable folder and not in the drawable v2 folder, v24 folder. Now we'll look at one of these files. This is the dice one XML file. We need to click we see the design. This is the design for dice one. This is the vector drawable. This is what actually vector drawable looks like. Now we have to update the layout to use these images. Now you have all the dice images here in your res/drawable folder. You can access those files from your app's layout and code. In this step, you replace the text view that displays the numbers with an image view. Here is our activity main.xml. As you can see previously in the code, we didn't use any images. There was a text view. But since now we are adding images instead of text, after we click the button, we'll use the image view. We use image view to display an image in your layout. The only new attribute for this element other than text view is Android SRC to indicate it is right here to indicate the source resource for the image. In this case, an image source of drawable slash underscore one drawable slash dice underscore one means Android should look in the drawable resources. It is right. This is right here. And for the image name dice slash one. Okay, since it is written empty underscore dice, it will show nothing when you start the app. You start the app. Okay. Now, as you can observe there is nothing been displayed right here because we have used the image as empty underscore dice, which has nothing in it. It's just a blank XML file. After we roll, we get our first image, any random image. Now it's given us the 6 on the roll. We click it again, it gives another random image, which is now we get 3. Okay. You can preview design button to preview, and it should look like this. This is the empty. Look at the private function of the roll dice. This is how the private function of roll dice method looks like. Notice that the reference to r.id.result underscore text may be highlighted in red. That's because you deleted the text view from the layout and that id no longer exists. It doesn't show here since everything is fixed and imported. All the classes are imported here. If it shows for you, use the find view by id method to get a reference to the new image view in the layout id and assign that view to the dice image variable right here. Now we can see there is a condition block here. When block to choose a specific dice image based on the value of random integer. As we can see, the random integer method will give a random integer at every time we click the button. But since we have defined the interval from 1 to 6, we need now, instead of showing the string, we want to show the image. So we assign one image to every number in the interval. For 1, we assign the image of the dice 1 XML file, and vice versa we do for all the 5. And if none of them come, because it's a when condition, we'll also use else at the end and give it the value for dice. As with the IDs, you can reference the dice images in the drawable folder with the values in the R class. Here, r.drawable refers to the app's drawable folder, and dice underscore was is a specific dice image resource within that folder. You need to update the source of the image view with the set image resource. Here is the set image resource. Now after you compile and run, it will look like this. Since we are using empty, nothing will shown will be after you open the app. After you click on the roll button, you'll get the result. Now let's see how are we using the default images for this empty dice. We use when we start the app. In the activity main.xml, in the code part, image view element set the Android. There is no Android src attribute to drawable slash empty. So app src and one tool src. If I was to change, okay, we need to remove the .xml as it recognizes its beforehand. Now, when we run the app, you can see dice one image appears as we open the app by default, and it changes its value after we click on the button. Same you can do if I just change the name from put here 3. Since we assigned the integer 3 to the dice underscore 3.xml, it will show the dice 3 as the default image. Now you can observe there is a tools semicolon src here, right? The tools namespace is used when you want to define placeholder content that is only used in the preview or the design editor in the Android Studio. Attributes using the tools namespace are removed when you compile the app. Namespaces are used to help resolve ambiguity when referring to attributes that have the same name. For example, both these attributes in the image view tag have the same name src, but the namespace is different. Examine the linear layout. This linear layout element at the root of the layout file and notice the two namespace defined here, xmlns android and xmlns tools. And there is another xmlns app. We change the tools src attribute in the image view tag to be dice1 instead of empty dice. Notice that the dice underscore one image is in place now as a placeholder image of the preview. So we did. Let's understand the API levels and its compatibility. Okay. Now we will look into Gradles. Expand the Gradle script folder and open the build.gradle model F file. As you can see, we can't exactly figure out it here. So instead we use the Android view. You can see there are two build gradles, one of the project and another is of the module. You can observe it in the Android for the app. You can see the compile SDK version is 30, minimum SDK version is 19, and target SDK version is 30. Also see the build types and the dependencies. One more thing, in the main activity file, you can observe act compact activity method. This is a compatibility class that ensures your activity looks the same across different platforms OS levels. I will see how to add compatibility for vector variables using API. There is an Android X compatibility library for vector variables all the way back to API level 7.2. Can see vector drawable use support library is been used. After you use this command, you might get a notification in here in a blue bar asking for you to synchronize it with your project. After you click on sync, it synchronizes the whole project. The file is modified, and after doing this you need to go to the activity underscore main.xml and add this line to the linear layout tag. The app here you see is the namespace for attributes that comes from either your custom code or from libraries and not the core Android framework. You can see now it has been given Android SRC and the tag we use for dice3. You can change the Android src attribute in this element to app.src compact. The src compact attribute uses the Android X library to support vector drawables in older versions of Android back to API level 7. Build and run your app. You won't see anything different on the screen, but now your app doesn't need to use generated PNG files for the dice images, no matter where the runs, which means a smaller IF file. As you can see, the device here is quite new and of the higher SDK version. This same code will run on a much lower SDK with the same quality, as the image is here is not a PNG, but instead is a vector file. So it shows the same quality on this device as well as from a lower Android version of lower SDK. You can again find the whole code during the code lab app you are doing. You can also try to use the solve the solution challenges.